Welcome to Exodus Nation.
Yeah, man, did you realize when I found the website for Exodus Nation, did you realize how long ago that was?
No.
Because that was a long time ago.
Long time ago.
Long time
sure.
ago.
Long time.
Technically, Exodus Nation is 18 years old now.
18 years old.
18 years old.
Adult.
2003 is when we started doing men's meetings.
Okay.
That was you. That was all you.
Right.
So, do you remember why? Do you remember what was going through your head when that originated and how we came to be from that?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was after Uncle Tim died. The very first passion that I can remember having for wanting to bring everybody together.
Rest in peace. I missed him.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Uncle Tim. Shout out.
Man.
But yeah, and it was funny because I had thought about that during that time. Everybody that I saw, like all the men,
Yeah.
I only see, during funerals or bad type situations. And, I noticed how we had younger men coming into being men that I thought that could really benefit from getting the guidance of, the older G's, so to speak, within the families.
Right.
So it seemed like, a no-brainer. It seemed like, that's something that can only go right. That could not, you know what I'm saying? There could only be positivity in that. So that was my motivation for actually wanting that to happen.
We really wanted to not just, I don't feel like just bond as a family, but hopefully teach what we weren't taught.
Right.
Teach what we were not taught.
Share information.
Yeah. And I think, man, had we really been able to stick to that and grow that all these years,
Right.
that would have been phenomenal. Now.
Yeah, me too, man.
And I think about how many of the younger kids from outside our immediate family probably would have eventually came into that circle,
Right.
because we would have grown it. It would have
Most
grown
definitely.
and expanded so much to this day, and we possibly would still have family members who are now no longer with us here.
But yeah, I mean, I think, maybe that's where the seed comes from with me. I don't know. Maybe I'm a offshoot of that energy from him. But for whatever reason, I think it's very important still, even to this day. You're right. I think it would have been beneficial not just to other people, immediate family and surrounding, but just us.
Definitely,
I
us.
think,
Definitely.
yes, I think just the prosperity behind that spiritually, and for us to, have that type of energy in our hearts and to actually see it projected, I think would be awesome, man.
And we did that. We did that a couple years later because we were trying to find that where do we go from here point. And I remember us talking, and I remember just saying, let's just feed the homeless, because you were at that point, you were in the church.
Yeah.
You were in the church,
Right.
and you guys fed people.
Yeah, we were feeding the homeless on the Sabbath. So Saturday after service, about afternoon, we would come back, and it would probably be a group about 20 to 25 people within the church, and elders and, just different department leaders of the church. And they would go out, and they had spots of friends of the homeless, and, they had, little faith mission and, just different women's groups that they would go and they would take, meals to, and then they would pray for them. And then there was a couple that had showed us that there was actual, communities set up out, by the railroad tracks and behind certain buildings and stuff like that. And there was camps, and, of course, that was totally new to me. And I think, I really understood, and I really, saw a couple different, places, and, the way that some of them look when it seems that there was nobody else in the world that cared for them. But
Right.
then they see some
Right.
people showing up like, oh, Yeah. So it was a success that happened, at that time, unexpected for them, I guess, that, somebody looked out for them. So I guess that, that did something to me, and that made me want to be a part of that. And that's what really brought me into the church more. That brought me into the church more, and it wasn't even really church related as far as,
I can understand that, because
Right.
that would have been, I'm not church.
Right.
And that would have been what got me, because that was
Right.
the one thing I was jealous about that you had.
Yeah,
You know,
with the church.
I was jealous that you had the communion to begin with.
Right.
And that's what I wanted us to have. But then the fact that you could take that communion and actually help people with it, I was extremely jealous. And I was like, no, that's what we are supposed to do. We are supposed to do that. So let's do that. Let's go ahead. And we didn't have much. We had bologna sandwiches. We had peanut butter and jelly.
Right.
You know,
right.
and then I had got the sponsorship from Panera.
Yeah.
So every weekend I'm getting just bags of Panera bread leftovers. Just they're filling up garbage bags. We had so much that I would end up having to throw it away because people didn't want any more bread. We had so much bread.
Right.
It would end up in the trunk, and the memories of that time, especially once we were out in the camps with our kids, and it's low key dangerous,
right?
Because we're out there. The people in camps are the people who are on the fringe. They want to be out of society,
right?
For reasons,
right?
Reasons just getting out of a murder stretch from jail, or just there were people out there who were off their meds, not almost stable.
Right.
And, you know, but for us, it was an adventure in helping people to find those people that the rest of society just kind of didn't look at anymore because they were so buried in the woods. And
right. Yeah, man, that definitely had, big purpose, man, because there's things that happen. And when you were talking, man, earlier, I was just sitting there thinking about the very first time we went out. So, you know, just to put a little bit of a detail in between the time that I very first went out with the church and then when bro said to me, well, let's feed the homeless. You know, I think I want to pick back up there because when you said that, I said, let's feed the homeless. Well, when you said, let's feed the homeless, I was thinking, okay, well, let's feed the homeless then. You know, that was one thing that I was already digging anyway. I was like, cool. And I remembered, you know, the Sam Club trips to get the, you know, the 50 to 75 different bags of chips.
Oh, yeah,
and,
the chips.
You know what I'm saying? To get the plastic baggies and, you know, to get the paper sacks and, you know, to get all this kind of stuff. So I remember the preparation, the lunch meat and, you know, the cheeses and, you know, it was so much of our routine. You know, I remember the very first time. So we get all this stuff packaged up. You know what I mean? The family is assembly line and, you know, we making sure everything, the sanitation is right. And, you know, the packaging, the presentation, the folds in the bags, the packing in the packaging as we load up.
Nothing sloppy.
You know, everything's in order. Everything's, you know, right there. We got water. You know, it's we got the whole thing. So we're riding down Broad Street. I never forget it. And I can't remember who's seen it, but at the little church over to the right, there was a couple people, maybe one person or two people maybe sitting on the steps. And we pull over to the right and, you know, we get out and immediately, you know, I go in like, you know, hey. You know, hey, sir, hey, how's it going? You know what I'm saying? We got some, you know, some brown bag lunches, you know, we would like to give you. Would you like something to eat? Some water, you know, and then immediately everybody went in. And that very first one built so much energy that in as far as targeting, that was the least targets that we had ever had, but the most energy that we had because we really wanted to find some people to help. Now, when you take that from 6 months later or 4 or 5 months later to where, you know, we've got events where, you know, churches and busing and, you know, resources are being brought in from all different networks and stuff like that, man. It's just it's amazing just to see that energy go.
I felt that way.
Right.
And I remember towards the end how bad it felt.
Right. I don't know. Yeah. I no longer feel that way today. So yeah, that feeling is very, still dominant. You know, it still dominate a lot of my memories, man.
And you know what? Even though directions change, we're not done. We're not done. Us doing this right here, I feel is starting to open a lot more communication that we're about to expand to other people. So we're not done. This is what Exodus Nation has always been about. It has started with us, you and me, multiple times.
Yeah.
So this is the same thing. And now at this point, I'm starting to see so much clearer when my niece brought up bowling. And I just started thinking about how many families used to go bowling together and have not, especially since Corona.
We would have to rent the bowling
take
alley.
the whole thing over.
Yeah.
Like you
And
said.
remember, I was doing that with the skating rinks and stuff, but I was just driving way far out. It was like Johnstown. I mean, it's a little way, but you can do it.
That's a great idea.
No, you can do it.
That is a great idea.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely bowling alleys, and I know that. Matter of fact, as I didn't think about the idea until you just brought it up again, but I'm pretty sure Johnstown you can get the whole bowling alley, and it's not too much, like $1.50 or something.
And you know what? To be able to even offer families that to where it's not going to be a packed place, but we have certain amount of space here, but to be able to bring other families back, especially now, we also have plans on the springtime being out, and I am looking forward to that.
Me too.
So much, man, just so much, because, and I hate to call 2020 anything but a curse, but 2020, I think, put people inside so much that now this year is gonna be a different spring and summer. To get my family outside fishing, camping for a day.
Yeah.
In the fishing boats, the kayaks, we got all the fun that's about to happen, and I just look forward to this more than any summer. Last summer was bad, and it affected me, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
So now this year, for sure, I want Exodus Nation to be what it always was. I want it to be family. I want it to be strong. I want it to unify, and I want it to help people. I don't need to save the world. I just want to be a part of the positive in the world.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I definitely still want to be able to teach the kids. It's got to be one of my priorities in this world, man. And every time I start thinking about things, I start thinking about the people we know.
Yeah.
And the leadership, the knowledge that they bring to the table, and what we could bring kids. But to start something that will be able to expand over the coming time, man, it's important more now more than ever.
Got it.
The government is not going to give it to us. They're not going to save us.
Welcome to Exodus Nation.